Lark Investments was a family holding company. The father, Mr. Ibrahim, owned it entirely and lived in Canada. In 2015, he decided to give voting shares to his children who lived outside the country. That change meant his non-resident children now controlled the company, holding just over half of the voting shares. On paper, that simple change meant the company stopped being what we call a Canadian Controlled Private Corporation or CCPC. Just days later, Lark sold an investment property and made a huge gain, almost $119 million, and soon after it paid a $1 million capital dividend completely tax-free to the family. The CRA took one look at this and said, wait a minute, that looks like a setup. Hi, I'm Amandeep Singh, CPA, and today we'll look at what this case, Lark Investments Inc. versus the King, teaches us about control, timing, and the General Anti-Avoidance Rule, or GAR in short form. Let's start with the basics. A CCPC, Canadian Controlled Private Corporation, is a company controlled by Canadian residents, and being a CCPC comes with its perks, like the famous small business deduction and lower tax rates on business income. But here's a catch. When a CCPC earns investment income, things like rent, interest, or capital gains, it faces extra tax upfront. That rule stops owners from keeping investment income inside the company and deferring their personal tax for years. If your company stops being a CCPC, those extra taxes no longer apply. So when Lark had control, it handed control to non-residents. Just before selling this property, these taxes disappeared, giving roughly $13 million. That's where GAR steps in. GAR says that even if your plan follows the letter of the law, if it defeats the spirit of the law, CRA can deny the benefit. It's the rule that separates smart planning from aggressive avoidance. The CRA saw Lark's timeline, that is change, control, sell, and then pay a tax-free dividend, and decided it was all for tax purposes. They reassessed, saying Lark misused the CCPC rules. Lark fought back, arguing that restructuring was legitimate, and pointed out that CRA never sent the case to its internal GAR committee, which usually reviews such files. The tax court did not decide whether GAR truly applies yet. This hearing was about how clearly CRA explained its reasoning. The judge said the Crown's argument read more like a theory paper than a legal case. She struck out parts of the government's reply but gave them time to rewrite it properly. You see, Lark won that ground and got cause for the motion. Even though the main issue is still open, this case teaches 4 big lessons. First, timing matters. A control change right before a big sale looks like tax planning. If you are restructuring for your real business reasons, do it well before any major transaction. Second, control is not just paperwork. Even if non-residents own the votes, CRA may say a Canadian still runs the show. Who signs contracts, directs advisors, and controls cash flow? That evidence decides who's really in charge. Third, purpose. And purpose matters more than the structure. If every step makes business sense, GAR risk drops. If the only reason is to cut tax, the risk shoots up. Fourth, big capital dividends always attract attention. When a large tax-free payout follows a big gain, CRA will check every link in the chain. Here's how to stay safe. Plan early. Document your reasons. Make sure control fully shifts, and have your CPA stress test your plan before filing. At Cloudiverse CPAs in Burnaby, we guide businesses and we tell you how to navigate these crossroads like a single reliable map for tax. We model your options, explain the CRA's likely view, and help you document every step before a sale or reorganization. The court has not ruled yet on the final GAR issue in this case, but it reminded everyone that when a company changes control before a big gain, CRA will ask why. Make sure your answer is backed by genuine business reasons, not just timing. Thanks for watching. I'm Amandeep Singh, CPA. Stay proactive, stay prepared, and let's make tax planning work for you, not against you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Until then, bye.